What is going on? Welcome on into today's trade recap, Thursday, September 14th. We had a one and done trade that made about 10%, but really I did miss out on what I think was potentially a bigger move. And so I'll talk through this trade today on Meta. So really quick, I'm going to go dive into TradeZell. I'm going to log this bad boy because we got to log it. So custom, I'm going to add this to my system. It was to my system and it was a bull flag play. That's how I'm going to log it. Essentially, if we were to jump back to, or let's go just to the trade replay, because it was a one and done. It was easy to do. So if I go back to Meta, I got in at 10:07 a.m. Before I pull up the trade replay and start replaying the charts, I do want to take a peek at the overall market trend, what I was thinking and all that stuff, as it's pretty important and it definitely factors into the trade recap, I think, in a substantial way. So let's adjust our charts here. Here's SPY. My level I was watching was the highs of Monday. If we can break above those levels, that would be a good look back up towards the 450 area, which we're now just above on SPY. So that's a good look for bulls. And, that said, that's kind of a big picture view of like what's going on. Outside of that, I looked at a couple charts and Meta caught my eye as one of my favorites. Why? Because we had been potentially pressing and testing upon this level of resistance around 309 that we broke, where we tested about 2 times back on a Monday and Tuesday with that upper wick, rejected both times, and we are still, not potentially, we're still trending higher with some higher lows, bigger picture. My only concern about this trade was the nature of Meta's past couple of weeks, where we've had these ups and downs and higher lows, and every time we break a high, we pull back and make a higher low, and the trend is just generally up, but it's not super clean, kind of like the move to the downside we had seen right here, right? It's the same kind of idea. So that said, I was somewhat concerned, but at the same time, I go to the 1 hour chart and I say, this is looking good to me. This is what I want to see on a 1 hour time frame, right? Higher lows up into resistance. Let's see if we can break it. And it didn't just break it right away. So if we go back to the 5-minute chart, I say, okay, here's when Meta broke that blue line right here, but I actually did not trade on that break, and I'll show you what I traded on here on the trade replay feature. So I got in at 10:07 a.m., so I'm going to fast forward this to around 9:50, play it from there. I'm going to change this chart to a 5-minute chart so we can see it a little better. That's what we're looking at. So here's what I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart when it comes to Meta. This is not telling me get in. Yes, we are over the highs of the open, but this is not telling me like, oh, we need to absolutely get in right now. Like this, there's nothing here. So I'm waiting. I'm seeing, okay, this is looking good. Like we're breaking over the levels. That 309 level, we're breaking above that. I like that. That's good for momentum on the bigger time frames. Can we now line up a 5-minute time frame entry point with this bigger time frame break for momentum? And that's what I was looking to do. So here's the look. I'm going to pause it right here. This is when I got in. Well, you'll actually see I'm going to get in momentarily. This was the break. So we had a nice push up. We had some consolidation, and then we're breaking to the upside here. And that's where I got in. And my stop loss is below this red candle's low. Okay, so this low, I'm going to stop out. Essentially just underneath the low of the breaking candle. Pretty, straightforward way to go about it. This actually was not a, yeah, it wasn't a real wick. I was like, what? It didn't go that low. But then we stayed pressure to the upside, stayed, high and tight, which I'd like to see that. And we got a nice push. Here's where I get somewhat concerned. I see we try to make a push and we're struggling, right? We're struggling for a while. This is obviously sped up, but like on the, shorter term time frames, this is taking its time. It's not really going, it's not breaking, it's not getting momentum. And so I end up taking profits here. This is around 10-ish% on the position, but from the sizing that I enter with around $710, because I needed to enter with 710, because that would allow me to stop out at $100 or less. That's my risk on these trades. So that's why that's how I'm sizing my trades now. And so I'm looking for about 15% upside with about a 12 to 11% stop loss, I believe is what it was, to give me that justification of make 100 plus and lose under 100 is kind of like the look from what I was looking at on the option contracts I traded. And again, I'm trading next week's contracts. Always will be trading next week's contracts unless I decide to change that. So didn't love how we're stalling here. Didn't love that. That's why I took the first one off. And then as time goes on, you'll notice that, okay, we stay pretty strong and we're trying to push. Here's where I see the next attempt. So about 10 minutes after the first take profit, I'm watching. This looks pretty good. This looks like it's going to break for more, right? It does. It makes a new high of the day, upper wick right there. So right here, I'm like, whoa. I'm not liking this look, right? I'm going to pause that. I'm not liking this look because this is kind of a classic, tried to break out to those new highs and then it immediately sold right back down, hammered back to the downside. I don't like that. And well, of course, I didn't know that on this candle. That's why I've just seen it a ton of times, and that's a pretty telltale sign that this is done for now, right? It's just going to take a breather for now. Maybe it's going to go later on, but it needs to take a breather. And I'm just trying to play off the momentum right now. I'm not necessarily trying to play this thing, you know, and see how long I can hold it down for how more. No, I'm playing what I see right now in front of me on the chart. So I don't like it. And then, of course, we see it pull back. And so it was a good decision. Because that would have brought me back down to break even, if not even below my entry point. My entry point was like right here. So this would have been below my entry point. So a good stop or a good exit there. And so if this candle had made a nice push and it had gone 312, you know, roughly, because it hit a high of 311.42, if it pushed up towards 312, that would have been really nice. I would have most likely taken off the next contract at around 25% in the green, which would have netted somewhere around a 140 to 150 gain on the trade, which for risking less than 100 is pretty good in my opinion. And so that was kind of like the upside that I was looking for. It just didn't happen. And so I was being proactive on the scaling outside because I knew this is easily going to come back and stop me out. Because at that point, after I took the first contract off, I put my stop loss to break even and my next take profit at 25%, roughly speaking. And once I saw this, I knew the chances of that 25%, at least right now, before it were to come back and retest the my break even, it's low. So I got out there. And that was why I did that. But that's essentially the trade. And as we speak, $75, not bad. It was probably going to be around 45 if I had let it come back and stop me out. So, you know, I saved myself $30. Not that it's a big deal, but that's it's lunch, you know, if you want to, you know, take it to that level, right? So ultimately, as you size up, it's going to be bigger numbers, but it's not bad. It's not a bad number. And especially as someone who's not relying upon this money for my income, right? Like these days add up. As long as you're consistent about this stuff, like I'm on pace. As long as tomorrow's not a big red day, I'm on pace to take out the profits for this week. And, you know, move on to the next and just kind of keep rinsing and repeating. And then as you have better conditions, right, you'll have better days, better trades, bigger winners. And as long as we can kind of make sure that those losers are nice and small, we're good. So that's today's trade recap. This is TradeZella. I'll leave it linked up down below, like always. Any other resources down there as well. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to see these videos once as we have them. I thought, honestly, we weren't going to have a trade today, but we did. Every day that I think that we're not going to have a trade, we end up finding something. That's good and bad. Sometimes it hurts me. In this case, this fit the system, so I took it. But, you know, again, we're not seeing the entire market just sending it or up or down. So we're not getting a lot of, you know, consistency, which hopefully, you know, that September timeframe is kind of choppy. So hopefully maybe into October, which we're getting closer and closer now. Maybe we get better consistency there. We shall see. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.